All right, how's everyone doing today? My name is Starseed Bey, and we are going to be talking about new moon manifesting. What we are looking at when we are making a manifestation process. I always use the new moon as a key source to get yourself organized. I mean, you can use the moon energy. And the energy and synergy that surrounds us as well. But a lot of times, people are still learning on the whole manifestation process. So the new moon is a great way and a great tool to start your manifesting process. And the interesting thing is I looked up the definition of manifesting for the dictionary, and manifesting is an adjective which is a readily perceived by the eye or the understanding, evident, obvious, apparent, and plain. It's also related to conscious feelings, ideas, impulses that contain repressed psychic material, which I find that really interesting. To make it clear or evident to the eye or the understanding, showing plainly. So basically, just your will and intent alone gives you that will and intent and what you need to bring into your life. We all need that will and intent, and that's how we manifest things. We have to have that will and intent, that determination, and that willpower to continue with that progress. I was talking a little bit earlier on Facebook before I pushed record on this, talking about getting organized. That's what I was focusing on today, was getting organized. Creating a certain day for these processes. Because I want to be able to help people, but I'm unorganized in how I'm doing it. So that's what I've been working on today. So that's what I'll be working on for my manifesting process. And like I always tell everybody, now with the new moon to full moon to new moon, the days are a little different. It's kind of a 15-day, 12-day period till the full moon. So you'll just kind of reflect, and that's where I'll make my full moon video again, and reflect on what the progress has been. In 12 days, did I set my plans right? Am I being self-motivated to keep with those plans that I'm creating for myself, and things like that, and that's what we're looking for in our lives, is creating organization and a set path. We all have a set path, just like myself. I've always known myself as a healer, so I need to stick on that path as being a healer for people. And today I was focusing on a Facebook page. Someone was saying they needed help activating their third eye, and in there, I stated that our third eye is already activated. It's just you have to learn on how to strengthen it, just like a muscle. You have to practice and train and learn and grow with that. So that really sparked that, because I've been wanting to go back into doing Google Hangout and start that up again. Start learning our empathic abilities, our psychic abilities, and just learning more about the third eye. It's so much more than just activating your perceived chakras and all that stuff. It takes a lot of awareness of what you're looking for. I had to learn everything by myself with that. So I'll talk a little bit more about that here after new moon manifesting. So with new moon manifesting, I really think it's really that time to really just sit down and organize and prioritize your life. Look at what you're good at. See what's going on in your life right now. Whether it be work-related, business-related, relationships. Maybe you're getting married, you're starting a new relationship. Maybe you're thinking about having kids. Look at this situation on how to, what you're planning for your life. what kind of goals are you setting for yourself? Creating something new, something different in your life is definitely key, because we all go through the same trends over and over and over again, and sometimes we get lost. And again, like I said, you get unorganized. So definitely is a good time to organize yourself during this new moon manifesting. And the interesting thing that will be quite interesting with the full moon coming up is that this is a interesting blood moon. Supposedly it hasn't happened 180 years. So it should be quite an interesting experience as well. We'll see what kind of energy comes up from it. So like I said, you can view the moon phases as energy, or you can view it as a way of organizing your life. So I mean, that's pretty much about it for new moon manifesting. Is just organizing your life. Organization is key. It is for me, anyways. So yeah. So with third eye activations, really looking at these situations. We got the chakra points. We got meditation. We got many different concepts that we learn and utilize. A lot of it is book oriented. So you go into a class or just read a book on how to activate your chakras, learn how to astral travel, remote view, things like that. It's very book oriented. And like myself, when I first began studying meditation and chakras and all this stuff, it was very book oriented, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because at the end of the day, you're still using your imagination, your magi eye. You're using your magi eye. That's what imagination is. Your magi eye, your third eye. That's what you're using. That's what you're utilizing through these, is projections and learning these different steps. So, I mean, a lot of people really think that chakras themselves, they really think the chakras themselves are real. I mean, like it's a real click within your body. I talked about the spiritual body and how we need to really learn on how that works as well, because we got the physical body, we got the spiritual body, and we got these energy points within that spiritual body. So I really feel the ancestors really created the chakra system to give you different pinpoints on how energy flows through your body. So if you want to view it that way, and it really kind of generates as a whole, because I really feel, and this is just me personally, I really feel that when you use a chakra system, it kind of distracts you from the whole, from your whole physical body and your spiritual body, because I really focused on certain aspects of the chakras, so it really kind of just builded the layers for me. So it really was a good foundation. But later on, I learned it was just like when you fill up a glass of water, you're just filling it until it before it overflows, obviously. But as far as energy goes, you actually want to make it overflow because it generates different energies. So the point I'm getting across is to activate your third eye, or view it that way. It's already there. You close your eyes, you get into a darkened room, you begin to meditate, you clear your mind, and you just let it go. You just let it go and see what happens. And one of the things that I posted on there is that you're looking for colors. The first thing you want to start out with is colors, because what was created, just like in Genesis, what was created? Darkness was created. And then after darkness was created, then the light was created. So light is created within the darkness. So darkness, and then generate that light. And therefore, that's when your third eye, or your magi eye, gets activated. And I find it interesting because that's how creation started. It's the same way. You had darkness and you had light. And then you separate the two. And when you separate the two, so you got darkness and you got light up here, what's in the middle? It's your projector. It is your manifestation process, the plane of existence. The plane of existence, just like the earth, is our creational pet stool or a footstool for creation. There's our footstool for creation. So that's what we're looking at with our Magi Eye, and it's so much more to it because there's so many things, because it creates a frequency, a tuning frequency for all the different vibrations for different beings, not only outside self, but within yourself. And a lot of the things that you become in tune with is within yourself. I also was watching some more stuff on parasites within the body. Parasites within the body, and they were mentioning, again, this is where Genesis comes up. They were mentioning on how Adam and Eve were tempted by the serpents, and even the symbolism of the apple. Sometimes you can get a rotten apple and it looks beautiful on the outside, but when you cut the apple open, boom, you got a parasite in there. And it's the same thing, is that, maybe the Bible is telling us, that the human body is going to have a new species that's going to be dwelling within our own bodies. That's going to be parasites, and the parasites can take control over our bodies. They can create diseases. Parasites can even go up into the brain, causing, and even to the nervous system and the bloodstream, causing us to not be able to be our full potential. Not causing us to be our full potential. They can take over because, you got to think that these parasites and things like that actually have their own will and intent, their own state of consciousness and things like that. And it's a disgusting thing to think about, but it's legit, man. I mean, it's legit, and it's hard to not have some kind of parasite in your body. Some parasites are good, but the majority of them are not. And that's where detoxing comes in. And I'm learning about detoxing myself. Learning on what kind of ways I can detox myself without making myself sick. Because when you detox, you don't want to make yourself sick. So you got to look at what works for you and what works for your body. I got a fast metabolism, so I have to look at alternative ways to detox. So detoxing definitely is one of the defining tools to use to cleanse your body, because it doesn't only cleanse your physical body, it cleanses your spiritual body. And that's what the most important thing is, because any kind of parasite or virus that you get within the physical body more than likely is caused from your spiritual body, or vice versa. Your physical body could be hurting your spiritual body, and things like that. It's a complicated system. It really is. So that's what I'm planning to do with these Google Hangouts. At least start out with Google Hangouts, is to create these classes for learning third eye. Just sitting down, doing meditation, just seeing where people are at, seeing what people are struggling with, or seeing if they are seeing colors and where to go after the colors. Because once you see colors, and you get really good at it, then you start sending out your will and intent. Do you want to make contact with different kind of beings? Do you want to make contact with yourself? You want to make contact with the shadow beings, because we all got shadow beings within us. It's the doorway within our own being, within our own soul. That's what we're looking at. That's what shadow beings are, for the most part, is our own fears and ambitions and goals and things like that. We generate all these beings within ourselves. That's why it's so important to learn to cleanse the body and release any kind of frustrations or stress or anything like that every night. Pray and meditate every night. to let go of some of that stress, as well as, practice your meditation as well. And it just depends on how much time you want to put into the meditation process. Just like I said in previous videos, man, when I was first learning about meditation, I spent hours and hours and hours meditating and also trying not to fall asleep. So it's definitely depends how much practice you gotta put in there. And that's the key thing too, is practice. Learning and practicing, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and just seeing where you're at. You don't want to totally focus your whole being, unless that's what you're called for, on just the third eye alone, because you want to also learn about energy. You want to spend time out in nature. You want to plant your feet into the ground, so then you can learn more about energy and more about synergy. That's also what I'll talk about in the class as well, is learning how that energy works and flows through you like water. And I do DDP yoga. If you've never heard of that, definitely check it out. It's it works with your own body, with your own mat. What's he use? Just basically, you just tense your muscles up, and you use your own flexing and your own muscles to flow through your body. So it's just it's learning that and doing that, which is where yoga practices come in too, is you learn on the flow of energy. And when you are learning about energy, the first thing that ever activates, or at least you're aware of, is your hands. You will feel it through your hands first. And sometimes you have to use your imagination to generate that. But once you learn how to turn your hands on and you feel the current of energy through your hands, and then you can start focusing on flowing it through your whole body. It takes a lot of practice. I mean, I could talk forever just about that alone. And, I don't really have too much to talk about today other than the manifestation thing. So when you want to learn about energy, you really have to use your imagination. You really have to be in tune with it. And the thing I always tell everybody with energy is, it's just like if your arm falls asleep, your leg falls asleep, you get that tingling effect, right? You get that tingling effect. Now, granted, when you have energy flowing through you, you're not going to have that pain or that agitating process of, hey, wake up, leg, wake up, but you'll learn on how to flow the energy through you. And the best process to do that is to plant your feet out in Mother Nature. Go to a beach if you got a beach, or in the grass at a park, or whatever it may be in your backyard, and just imagine your feet being a tree. Just imagine yourself being a tree. Just envision what it would be like to be a tree, and then you just close your eyes. And you just envision it, that the tree has vines that go into the ground. And then when you water the grass, or it rains or things like that, the water goes into the ground. And the cool thing is that water, when the water falls and the ground absorbs it, and then it goes through the roots. And now when it goes to the roots, it's the opposite process. So water goes down into the ground, but then it goes to the roots and it feeds it back up. So it goes through the tree as far as it can go up. I mean, if you got a really tall tree, obviously it needs more water, but you get the idea, that water has to flow up. And it has to flow up through plants, it has to flow up through everything. So, and this was a good foundation for me, is that, all right, so energy flows up through the ground. So I use that tool. I also was doing a lot of research on different things and learning about the earth, and that, maybe the earth is hollow. Maybe there is a built-in sun within the earth, its own soul. The earth has its own soul, its own energy source. So I envisioned that. I envisioned that I was getting that source of energy through the earth from that sun within the earth. And I just started to flow through. And remembering, because you want to really turn your hands on first, is remembering how it felt through my hands. So I need to do that same thing with my foot, and then just kind of drag the energy through. And if you got to use your hands, you can use your hands and just kind of just pull it through. Just imagine you're pulling that energy through. And if your hands are on, you will begin to feel that own energy through your legs, and you just kind of just exercise and just imagine the energy flowing through you, through your legs, and then you just begin to do that more, and you just build it more and more and more, and that energy just continues to spiral through you. And it takes a lot of practice. I mean, literally, I got stuck around the stomach area. And I learned a lot about the stomach area because the stomach area is your main point of energy. It is your where your chi is stored. Your energy is harnessed within that area. And we're talking in terms of your spiritual body. Your whole energy source is there. And when you learn more and more about energy, everything is a spiral. Everything spirals. It's not just a single flow, but it's a spiraling flow. So you can imagine it's spiraling through this way and that way and so on and so forth. So it just continues to spiral through. So when I got to the stomach area, it was really confusing for me because it just felt like I was kind of stuck in that area. And I learned that it's because it's spiraling, and if you're not aware of how energy works, it's just going to spiral to what is activated at the time. So it was just flowing down. So I get energy flowing up, but it also flowed down. So it wasn't going anywhere. So I had to learn on how to learn how that worked. Learn on how that worked within my being. So I had to turn it on and spiral it upwards. And this takes a lot of imagination. This is again where your imagination comes in. Your magi. You sit through meditation during these energy practices and allow that to flow through. That's send your will and intent. Hey, I need my energy to flow through. Continue up. So you allow it to flow through and continue forward. And then this is also where your energy, your hands and your energy come in as well, because these are just like your feet. So you need to make the energy flow through the palms of your hands as well, because it won't make no sense if you flow the energy this way and shoot it out that way. That wouldn't make any sense. You could do that, but you really want to flow it through. You really want to harness all that synergy that surrounds you. So it's a constant flow. So it's just flowing through you. So you turn both your hands on, and then as energy is flowing through this way, then it shoots out through the crown of your head. And it takes a lot of practice. Trust me. It took me 2 years pretty much to get to that state, to learn on how energy worked, to learn how synergy worked. I did a lot of exercises in learning how about energy. I'd be jumping around, moving my arms back and forth. And again, I talked about this a couple videos back, is my guide showed me in how to open portals and things like that. So I was bending and moving and shaping and learning how the energy flowed, creating and generating the shields surrounding me, generating my spirit guides, my guardians, giving them some kind of physical form as well, which that is also a good concept I guess I can bring up as well. Just learning all these things about energy. And like I said, is I learned how to pull down all of these rings or these dimensional barriers that we all have above us, and just pulling them down, pulling that energy down, and learning how the energy worked, sending that different frequency through you. So it was just moving in different ways, and maybe this is why they generated yoga, is to give you kind of a basic foundation, and then when you go home you learn more about energy and use those tools as well, because I never did yoga, but when I did DDP yoga, because it's an exercise. It's a very exercise, not just some basic yoga practices. So so when I was doing all this stuff, I was really learning how all this energy worked and everything like that. So it was pretty amazing stuff. Um, but with spirit guides and things like that, I'll go ahead and talk about that. My experiences with that is that I had to learn what spirit guides were. Learn what they are. Are they real beings? Are they separate from myself? What are these spirit guides? What are these higher selves? What are they? Many people define them as fifth dimension, sixth dimension, seventh dimension, things like that. But I just ended up just having these spirits surrounding me, and they ended up having different kind of energies, and I really had to use my imagination in looking at them in these ways. And sometimes they already had a form, and sometimes they didn't, so I gave them a form. And this is where your imagination you really learn a lot about it, because if you're in tune with ET beings and things like that, maybe the image that they're giving you is just based upon your database, so they really have no form. Because if you really look at vibrations and frequencies and things like that, vibrations and frequencies are waves. They're not forms. They're not solid objects. They're waves. So if we are a satellite and we're receiving these frequencies, it would be waves and vibrations. It would be waves and vibrations. So, with our telepathic abilities and things like that, it really digs deep into a whole new realm of understanding things, to a whole new realm of understanding things, because we're not taught this stuff. We're not taught this stuff. We're not taught about our third eye. We're not taught about the limitless potentials that our pineal gland alone gives us. It's a tool to better our lives, to create heaven within ourselves. It's also a tool to conquer the demons that dwell within us. It's a manifesting tool for the physical realm, for our will and intent. There's so much that our body does that we're just not taught, and it's just all book oriented. And I'm not saying that there aren't good teachers out there. There's a lot of good teachers out there that will teach you probably a lot better than I can. But just getting out of the human doctrine of it, though, because I'm talking from my personal experience that I learned about this stuff, but just reading it on paper alone doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't get you anywhere, because you have to do the practice, you got to do the work. And that's what I did for 2 years straight. That's all I did nonstop. I'm a family guy. I got kids, work 40-hour job, and I spent a lot of time just meditating and learning how energy worked for 2 years straight. My wife had to be patient with me, and my kids are like, "What are you doing, Dad? You're being weird." But that ain't gonna stop me, because I was determined to find out how this worked. In 2010, a lot of people ended up having these awakenings. We didn't understand what they were. We didn't know what it was. It was just some kind of energy that just hit us, that totally changed my perception of life totally. I mean, I was a depressed person that really had no goals in life, other than taking care of my wife and kids. But other than that, there wasn't anything. Then all of a sudden, January 2010, boom, totally changed. I got off work one day, and I just started researching things like crazy, constantly. Learned everything from conspiracy theories, underground bases, But the main focus that my guides were teaching me was get back into meditation, learn how the spirit body works, get back to Christ, learn more about creation, the God character, learn more about that, learn how to talk with angels, things like that. I need to look into that. And it was hard during 2010 because a lot of that stuff, the third eye and everything, was labeled as evil. I couldn't find a single thing that was positive other than a couple videos. And there was one other person that woke up around the same time as me that I watched, and I kind of grew with that person. That was the only person I related to, because everything else was just it was crazy, But I continued forward, and I just did my own practices and used my magi eye. And I went through a lot to get to going, learning how it worked. And I had the colors going, but I didn't know where to go after that. But once you learn when the colors go, that's when things start to flow and you start getting your will and intent going. One of the first things my will and intent is I wanted to know what was going on behind the veil. I wanted to know what was going on behind the veil. So I just went from there, and then I started getting in contact with different kind of beings, from gray beings, lizard type beings, Arcturians, and different beings. I learned about my past life as a Lyran being, as a cat being, and the majority of my past lives, are of a Lyran being constantly. I learned about a lot of different things. It all played out. It was all a projection through the third eye. And it's my story, and my story is not just my own. There are so many testimonies out there of people and their past experiences, because a lot of people just label this as oh, it's just your imagination getting the best of you. But what is imagination? Again, what is imagination? Look into comic books and anime, even live action shows, like X-Files and Star Trek. Star Trek was a defining moment in science itself, or in technology. I said this at work. I was talking to a person, and I'm like, it's uncanny that in Star Trek they had laptops already, and we didn't know what laptops were back then, right? But now look, we got laptops. The same exact thing, they were Skyping people basically, right? In Star Trek, they were Skyping. And now look what we do now. We got Facebook, we got Google Hangout, we got all these things now that we can just talk to real easy across the world. You want to talk to somebody from Japan? Boom, you can. You want to talk to somebody in Hawaii? Boom, you can. So we're already in the pre-stages of Star Trek. So, it's uncanny. All this stuff comes from imagination. And our goal, our job here is to create this stuff into the physical realm. Use our magi eye and then generate it into the physical realm. And that's the key thing, is learning on how powerful we are as a creation. Hey, how's it going, Zara? So yeah, it's learning on how powerful we are as a creator on this plane of existence. And it's not just, viewing ourselves as a god, right? Because I really feel the New Age community is like, oh, we're gods, we are creating things, No, we are aiding in the creation process. We are aiding in the creation process. Each one of us is helping manifest and shape this world that is right before our eyes. We are shaping this world right before our eyes. And it's a process we have to work together with. We have to work together. We can't divide ourselves, and we can't lie to ourselves either. Again, with the New Age people, they they're all about love and light, love and light, love and light. But the world is not love and light yet. It's not totally love and light. People are still being abused, and bad things are still happening. It's just it's part of our daily lives, and we can't ignore it. We can't just say, oh, we don't resonate with that, so we're going to move on. But if you ignore the problem, you're not generating a solution. And that's one of the things that I'm about, is creating solutions. We need to create solutions. And one of the best solutions right now is learning how to heal yourself and learning how your body works, learning how the spirit works, learning how that Christ energy works within you. Christ crystal energy, the crystal energy that works within all of us. We all have that within us. Christ said that you have to go through Christ to get to God the Most High. What does that represent? And what was Christ all about? Is going within yourself. Christ, crystal, going within, learning the crystals, your DNA that is within you, allowing your DNA to flow within you. And once you become one with that, you are within Christ. And then when you're within Christ, then you learn about and connect back to the Creator, the synergy, the mainframe of creation. And then you go from there. It's a huge process. And it's not limited. I really feel a lot of people really limit those concepts or those ideas. We are God. No, we are a part of creation. And that's one of the key things that I definitely let people know. That way then their ego doesn't get the best of them. Be like, hey, I am manifesting this stuff. I don't want you guys to be messing with my manifestation process. And people will tell you that too. I don't want you to mess with my manifestation process. When we are all connected anyways. So we have to generate a joined manifestation process. And we're not always meant to work together, but I really feel that we shouldn't be pushing people away either. And this again is where we learn on the connection points, that I may be one person, but I can be connected to 1,000 people. So I'm meant to work with these 1,000 people, whoever they may be. And then these 1,000 people will create and manifest and create a family for a healing process, for humanity, and for the higher dimensions as well. Because we may be 1,000 people, but we can be connected to another being, and they can have like 500 people under them, and so on and so forth. That's how the energy change works. We are a vampire by nature, because we are all energy, we're all synergy. That's how we work. You look into the mysteries of dark matter and how the majority of space, right, the universe, is all dark matter. And dark matter not only is outside us, but it's within us as well. That dark matter energy is within us. It is that crystal energy, that Christ energy, that unexplained phenomenon that dwells within us. It goes deep, man. It goes deep. That's why I'm going to start these classes to help you guys out. To see where you guys are at and learn and grow with each other. Because that's why we're here. We can spend all this time reading books and just watching people and reading, but we need to have a hands-on, and just be able to be real with each other. That's the thing that lacks too, is being real with each other. Things are so opinionated as well, and so many different things. I created a little comment thing, and I said on there that I don't believe in anything, I discover. I don't believe in anything, I discover. Because if you believe in something, it can go into the different realm concept of, you want to believe it's real, but you're not sure it's real. You want to believe it's real, but you're not sure it's real. And also, it can limit you. A belief can limit you because you don't want to go outside that belief structure, because then it can get you off track. It can get you off track, or just lead you into a different realm. So, I don't like to use that word belief. Discovery is key. We learn things every day, and we learn and grow. I was born in a Christian home, and I continue to question and learn and grow and study different things. Study different religions, study different cults, study about energy, synergy, ET beings, a different kind of beings, things like that. Learning all of these. I am a discovery. That's how you discover stuff, and you add it to what you have learned. The book of knowledge, the book of life within you. You don't want to limit yourself to just a simple concept. You want to continue to flourish and grow. So self-discovery is key, and I'll always tell people that self-discovery is key. And continue with that. Don't be stuck in the love and light. Don't neglect the darkness. Because without darkness, there would never be light. Like I said, first there was darkness, then there was the light. And then that can get a whole different subject as well. So yeah. So let's see where I'm at here. We're 40 minutes in. So does anybody have any questions for the couple of viewers that I have? It doesn't look that way. So practice is definitely key. I'm definitely excited to start getting myself organized and just starting to make planned shows. That way then, for people who do watch me, we'll be able to go, oh, hey, Adam's going to be on at this time. Let's go check it out and see what's going on. So it'll be a lot nicer and more organized. And that's what I definitely hope you guys start getting more organized in your life. And realize, that your voice is also important. Get yourself out there. Tell people about your truth, about your life story, because your life story matters too. What are you learning in life right now? Are you a spiritual person? Are you a religious person? Are you a business person? Are you just learning about everything? Maybe you're just kind of lost, and you feel like something's calling out to you, but you don't know what it is. So, get your voice out there, and be that voice, be that inspiration for others, because that's what everybody's thriving for, is a voice and a face to go with it. So then they can be motivated, and they can learn new things. They can learn new concepts. That's what I'm all about, is learning where people are at and seeing where people are struggling and bringing it to the table. Just like today, I bring things to the table of what catches my eye and try to bring it in a different flavor or a different form. So then people aren't struggling so much. There was so many people on that forum that I read about the third eye of, I'm struggling with the third eye. I don't know how to activate it. And people would just leave basic comments. Oh, just meditate. Oh, you just learn about the chakras. Just plain nothing. It just was oh, go learn about the chakras. It's not giving a person a foundation. Not giving that person a foundation. You gotta give a person a foundation. My foundation is Christ, and I've always used the Christ character within me as a guide for myself. The inner voice that guided me and strengthened me. So I always had that spiritual connection, and that's my foundation. So you got to find your foundation. You got to find your spiritual guide. I talked to people and I said, hey, what kind of guides do you have in your life? Oh, well, I had an angel I used to talk to. There you go. There's your foundation. Talk with an angel you used to talk to. Hey, I used to have this animal spirit that would always show up in my dreams and would talk to me and stuff. Boom. There's your spiritual guide right there. Go and find that spirit animal and talk with that spirit animal, because everybody has a spiritual encounter of some kind, and you have a link to that spirit. Whether it be through religion, whether it be through spirits, angels, anything of that nature. Go back to that time that you were connected with spirit, and that will be your foundational point. That will be your starting point. And then you go from there. That will be your starting point, because we are learning how to heal ourselves. That's what the world's going through, is learning how to heal themselves. Don't get distracted about what's going outside. Be aware of it. I'm not saying, that the stuff that surrounds us isn't happening, because there is definitely a lot of stuff going on. But don't let it distract you from learning how to heal yourself. Take care of yourself. Better your life. Maybe you need to change the way you eat. Maybe you need I ain't no doctor, and use what works for you. But maybe you need to get animals out of your system. Like with me, I started cold turkey. I just got rid of beef and pork out of my body, and I felt a lot better. I got real sick at first because I was so used to having that in my system. But it just took a lot of research and learning what I could eat. I still ate chicken, I ate fish, and then I learned how to eat more vegetables, add beans and things like that, and cashews and almonds, and just different things like that, juices and smoothies and all that stuff. It's just it takes give yourself that responsibility to realize, for one, you have to become an adult eventually. You have to have that mindset of an adult. You got to have a business perception of an adult to take care of yourself. We cannot be a rebellious teenager our whole lives. And there's a lot of people that do that right now. A lot of people who are rebellious like teenagers and don't want to listen at all. They just want to do whatever they want. There's no balance within it all. So it's up to you to better your life. You want to better your life, you got to take responsibility for your life. And you got to clean up your life. Clean up your life. Maybe you're addicted to alcohol, so you got to work on not drinking anymore. Smoking, same thing. Just changing all these little things in your body is going to change your vibrations dramatically. Maybe you gotta change your relationship structure as well. There's so many different things that you can change to make your life better, and to make life better for others. Because if you better your life, the people that surround you will see that. They will see that you are bettering your life and that there's something different about you. And people who don't have a steady foundation or an unbalanced life, they are going to become jealous of you, or they're going to go to you and go, hey, I noticed that you're different. There's something different about you. What are you doing different? And then you can go from there, and you can be that inspiration for that person. That's one of the key things, is being inspired, being an inspiration to others as well, is definitely key. We're all here for each other. And to just continue to heal. So that's pretty much it, man. So I'll go ahead and I'll just end this with a prayer, and then that will be pretty much it. So Lord, thank you for the people who tuned in, and for the words that were sent across. It's so very important to get in touch with ourselves, to learn more about ourselves. Christ, you showed us the way to heaven. You showed us that key to heaven dwells within us. You showed us that, and you inspired us that we, despite all the struggles that we go through life, we have to go within ourselves. We have to give our time to ourselves to learn how to heal ourselves. To learn the processes of life, to learn why the struggles that we have in life, why they happen, why they happen. And, you generate the foundation that we need to release some of that stress, release some of that stress, you give us that power, Lord, to say, hey, I need you, I need help in my life, can you guide me? Christ, can you guide me? God, can you guide me through this situation? And that inner voice that you give us is I'm here for you, I can guide you and help you. But it's up to you as a person to motivate yourself and to get out of there. Um, you know, you taught me, Lord, on that you're just a guide, but I am the one that makes the choices. I am the one that makes the choices. So we have to listen to that guide. We have to listen to you to help us make those right choices. And we'll make good choices. We'll make bad choices. But Lord, now I just pray that anybody who's listening to this, that you will guide them. You will guide them back to you, and you'll guide them back to that sacred place that dwells within us, to that kingdom of heaven that dwells within us, the sacred place that we can go to release that stress, to release the fears, anxieties, the aches and pains, and anything like that that's going through the viewer that's watching this right now. I just pray that you will touch them and that you will heal them and guide them into a steady foundation in their life, that you will show them that path and let them know that they are special, they are gifted, that each person has a gift that they can offer to the world, that they can be special in their own way, and that let them realize that they are special. Just show them that light. Show them that strength within them, Lord. That you will give them that strength to be the best version of themselves. So, with that being said, in the name of Jesus and my Heavenly Father, Amen. So very important to learn on how to heal yourself and be an inspiration, not only to others, but yourself. So love yourself, keep shining bright, and look for schedules I'll be putting up as well, so I can get a steady foundation going for you guys. So love yourself, keep shining bright, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. All right, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Shalom.